Welcome to OpenMatChronicles, another great episode for you guys. I'm 1865 Rod. I'm a black belt under Gustavo Enriquez, training out of Infinite Jiu-Jitsu, Rockland, California. Shout out to Big NorCal. As always, we got my man D. Schaefer in the house today. What's up, Schaefer?
Chilling, drinking some of your beer.
That's some good
This
stuff.
is actually a pretty decent one, too.
It's October.
Yeah, right, it's good. So, I'm Harold Schaefer. I'm a black belt under John Hassett out of New Jersey, down to South Jersey. Been training, pushing on 23 years. I love jiu-jitsu. It's awesome.
What are we talking about today?
Talking about being hobbyists. We're talking about how good is a hobbyist black belt? Like, how good are you really? This is only opinion.
It's like, in full disclosure, like we're both hobbyists.
We are definitely.
So we might be a little jaded.
I'm not jaded. I'm happy to be.
I'm entitled to my opinion.
For sure.
Jaded or not.
For sure. Listen, I'm a hobbyist. You're a hobbyist. Most of the damn people we know are hobbyists. But hey, we'll get into that apparently, right? So, what is a hobbyist? What do you think a hobbyist is?
I think a hobbyist is going to be like your average guy that doesn't necessarily, he might do a competition or two, you know, when he was like a white belt or whatever, just to kind of test the waters. And then he realizes that, yeah, I'm not going to be the next Gordon Ryan, but I still love the sport. You know, it's amazing. It's something that, you know, I like the camaraderie, whatever. And he just keeps training. I think that's what a hobbyist is. I think a competitor is someone that actively competing for, they have a specific goal in mind. It could be financial. It could be there's some reason why they're competing, outside of just I just want to get really good and win these competitions. In my opinion,
it's probably like glory, right?
Yeah,
do it for glory.
Yeah. So. I mean, like you go to school or something like that. That's legit, right?
If you go to school, you're not a damn hobbyist.
Yeah, you got to compete.
Yeah. If you're going to school, you are not.
What do you think? What's a hobbyist?
Hobbyist to me is a joker who has a full-time freaking job and they have bills to pay and they go to jiu-jitsu when they can. I think that when they can part is what really makes you a hobbyist. If you go to jiu-jitsu no matter what, then you're starting to get serious, right? Then you're like, okay, this is how I feed my family. Or you probably don't have a family, but you maybe have a family. But if you're doing jiu-jitsu like, I got to get right to get to a competition to make some money so I can pay my car note, you're not a hobbyist anymore. Now you're like, shit, you got to make this work.
But there's some white belts that train like when they start, they're training 7 days a week, twice a day. That's why they get good so quickly now.
They're probably unemployed. No. It's an expensive sport. You're really probably not unemployed. But the reason that I think so many people jump in like that is because jiu-jitsu is like magic, man. It's like you see some shit and you're like, yo, this is amazing. This is something that the average person will just never understand. And once you get a taste of that early on, you know, you're chasing it. You're chasing that high, right? You're like, I got to do this every day, 3 times a day, and I just won't sleep. And, you know, I'll work just enough hours to pay the bills. But then, you know, you get the blue belt and you're like, all right. Yeah, damn. Well, you know, I got a kid now, so
and your whole world is changed.
I got a baby formula I got to pay for.
Yeah.
Then your purple belt, you're like, shit, I don't even go to warm-ups anymore. Because purple belts, they just stopped going to warm-ups, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I stopped at brown.
See, okay, well, then you're
a little later. I still went to warm-ups at purple.
So then we got these purple belts. They're like, man, you know, I kind of already know my game. I'm doing my thing. And they get in like 4 times a week, which is still badass.
Yeah.
And you get to the brown belts. And if the brown belt's like, yo, I'm going to be a black belt, I'm going to teach, I'm going to do all this, they keep the pace up. But sometimes those brown belts, they start dipping off a little bit too.
It's funny.
Slow down. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to come in also after the warm-up, and I'm just going to help teach a class because, you know, I already got my specialty moves down.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really looking to learn anything else. I'm just here to share the knowledge and share the wealth of jiu-jitsu and then go get a beer afterwards, right?
You can totally see it too. Like, it's funny because like purple belts are so hungry. Like they want to take your head off, right?
Yeah.
And then a brown belt, they have like moments of hungerness, right? They're just still pretty hungry.
It's usually after a purple belt beats their ass.
Yeah. Like, I got my fire back, right? But they're usually pretty chill still, but they're still chasing that black belt, right? So if you go against a brown belt and you're a black belt, they're going to be hungry. But for the most part, they've toned it down a bit. You know, they don't have to prove anything as much as like a purple belt.
Right,
they're
usually not going crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
purple belt has
keep in mind, we're speaking of hobbyists. We're
Yeah.
speaking of walking the path of a hobbyist, right?
Correct.
This is so then they get the black belt, right? And they're like, oh shit, I've been doing it for like 13 years. 13 years, and somehow I got a black belt. I mean,
somehow, some way.
I'm not the greatest. I'm not terrible at this. I actually kind of know some stuff.
Yeah.
Hell, if a Joker tried to jump on me at Walmart, I'd probably drag his ass. So I feel good about that. Like, you know, you go to a family reunion and you get a drunk uncle start doing some crazy shit, you know, probably slap that choke on him and say, hey, calm down, calm down.
Yeah, you're good.
And then you just put him in the chair, and then your mom and everybody's like, oh my God, you choked out your uncle. But anyway, that's a whole different thing. So the path that gets you to being a hobbyist, it's usually the path of, I really love jujitsu, but I have so many other things in my life to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think that deep down, every hobbyist, or just about every hobbyist, probably would just long to be a pro. They would be like, damn,
oh yeah,
I wish I was the best. I wish I had the dedication to be the best. But oftentimes they already started when they're in their late 20s, early 30s, 40s, 50s. And it's like, yeah,
you ain't gonna change the world.
You're not gonna
you ain't set the world on fire.
The world on fire.
Yeah.
You love the art. Nobody can take that away from you.
Facts.
But you got jokers in here who started when they were like 4 years old, 5 years old, never stopped. They're 25 now. That means they got 21 years of training in on you, and they're not even 26 years old, right?
Yeah.
And somebody's probably paying for them to go. They don't have a job. They're chilling. Mom and dad are throwing the money and saying, come on, baby, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And that's why they become the best.
Well, that's why you have a small percentage of people that actually become the best. I mean, the majority of people are just hobbyists, in my opinion. I think like 90%, really.
Absolutely. Hell, 90% is probably not even enough. I mean,
it might be more. It might be 95%.
It probably is, because, I mean, the best people in jiu-jitsu, they're the best by a long.
Yeah, there's a huge disparity.
Big ass disparity, right? You get a guy like me, and I'm like, all right, cool. I know some stuff. You know, I hit you with a sweep. I catch you with some shit you never saw before, maybe. And, then I wrist lock the shit out of you. Yeah, right. Wrist lock the shit out of you from every freaking angle, because I like that, because it's trickery. It's fun. It's like, oh, cool. I got this little move, and that's great when you're teaching. Like if you're teaching a class and you got a bunch of newbies, or even people who've got like 4 or 5 years in, right? They're still hungry. They're like, yo, show me something. And I'm like, damn, I actually know something, man. And because I've been around for so long, like you just get it through osmosis. It just seeps into your head because you've gotten beat with it so many times, and you can share it. But I know damn well I will not do what is required to be the best at jiu-jitsu. Ain't gonna happen. I like to drink. I like watching movies and TV shows. I gotta support a family. Yeah. So it's like I can't just.
And getting older too. So that's the fact. The window for being a competitor is probably relatively small.
Hell yeah.
I would think for a man, you're going to be in your prime anywhere from like mid-20s to like maybe early 30s. Physically, you're still really good at early 30s. Yeah, I don't know why these guys are complaining, oh, I'm 32, I'm old. You're in your prime at 30s.
That's because they've been beating their body up since they were
that could be. But in order to be in your prime, you had to have started when you were like 15, though. So I'm not saying start at 25. Nope, start at 15.
Facts.
And you can't control that. So
you can't. I mean, and...
Oh, well, let me ask this, though.
It's hard to say that ship has sailed, man, but shit.
It sailed, yeah. So what about the guys that, like, I compete, I go to, Master Worlds, I go to the Pans, and I go out of the, Jiu-Jitsu by the Bay, all these little small competitions, whatever the case may be. But are they full-on competitors?
No, those are the hobbyists. They're hobbyists. Okay. Most of the people in them damn tournaments are hobbyists. It's the hobbyist tournaments, and that's awesome. That's
a hard pill to swallow.
Man, swallow that shit. Because here's the deal, right? You take all those jokers, throw them up against the top competitors, and you know who's not going to be on top? All those jokers. The reality is going to hit you like a ton of bricks, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why, what do I always say? Check your ego at the door. Learn to humble yourself. It's cool to strive to be the best. But man, like you have to also be willing to take that dose of reality.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, well, look, man, I was 40 when I started jujitsu, but I don't know. This Gordon Ryan guy, I could probably do something. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. You be like, oh, it's like, come on, dude. Look,
I'm calling out Andre Galvao.
Andre Galvao, man. He's jacked. I could probably take him. As I'm like, what? Drinking a tequila and freaking, lime, and I'm like, I could probably get him. I would have done that move. I would have hit him with the drop Sayanagi. Like, no, the fuck you would not have.
Somebody tried to hit that on me the other day.
They tried
to hit me and drop Sayanagi.
Dude.
Really, dude? Come on, man.
I love the drop Sayanagi. It was a great move,
but I already know it. I saw it coming. I
remember when Hassett taught us that years ago, man. Legit. I remember Johnny taught us that, and I was like, oh, shit, this is cool.
It was cool.
And
it looks sweet. When you hit it, it's pretty.
You watch people, their feet flying in the air and shit. It's amazing, right? But let's be realistic. You try that on some professional who's been doing this for his whole life, who's in the prime of his life, physical peak. You can barely get your hands on his gi. Like,
okay, so let's break it down. Let's dissect it a little bit, though. What about, so we're talking the elite of the elites, the Andre Galvaos and the Gordon Ryans, but what about the next level down? They're still competitors, though. So I don't want to take it away from them.
They're badass.
Yeah, so like, how do we kind of like align that with, separating them from being hobbyists? Because they're still competitors. Even the guy that's like training, let's say he trains our school, 6 days a week. He's super serious. He's got a job, but he goes to every competition there is. Is he just still, could you call him a competitor? I think I would. He's coming up. Maybe he's never going to be Gordon Ryan, right? But still, he's putting the work in. He's doing his thing, and he's doing more than I'm doing. You know what I mean? So he is competing.
I hear you.
I'm trying to see it both sides. I'm trying to be objective about it.
All right. Okay. So there are professional leagues, and then there are semi-pro leagues.
Yeah, good. I see where this is going.
You grab them and you throw them in with the pros.
Yeah.
And they get their lunches eaten.
Yeah.
And again, hard pill to swallow it.
Yeah.
Swallow it, motherfucker.
Yeah. But now here's the only, maybe the argument to that would be, maybe that's just a required step that they have to go through. And maybe 1% overall.
There you go.
Bust through and they, oh my God, I got it.
And I respect that. Yeah. And I also respect that you tried. If you jump in, you like, yo, I'm going to do this for real. I'm going to make this my living. And you try. God bless you.
Yeah.
I have total respect for you. I got my boy Joe Selecki. I remember when he was like 10, 11, 12 years old. He was one of Hassett's like golden child, man. Like John made sure he put him through the ringer even as a youngin'. And he would teach him extra stuff, and Joe would absorb this stuff, right? And I think deep down he knew that this was going to be his profession. He was like, I am going to fight for a living. And he followed that path. I know he's had like little jobs here and there in between, but man, I think he's held like 3 different cage fighting titles, 2 or 3 different cage fighting titles. I don't know how many fights he's got under his belt. Just signed a 5-contract deal with the UFC. I remember this kid when he was like just tiny, right? But he followed his passion. And yes, he is that small percentage that will break through. God bless him. He followed his dream. A lot of people follow their dreams.
Like that's one Joe Selecki out of how many students?
Yeah. And I mean, again, hard pill to swallow it. Swallow it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it sucks. Everybody's not going to be the best. So be a real, so be in the JV league, be a whatever, what is it? The semi-pro. Teach.
Yeah.
You mean, oh, here's an old saying that nobody likes to hear. Those who can't do, teach.
Oh,
yeah, but I mean, at some point in time, there's a reason that saying exists. It's like, damn, you know what? You can't be the best. Let's say you were the best. You can't stay the best. That has a
shelf life.
Definite shelf life.
Yeah.
You can't be the best forever.
Exactly.
Period.
Got a little small window of.
So if you're no longer the best, what are you? I mean, are you going to let that be the only thing that determines your life? No, you still probably got a lot of life ahead of you.
Yeah.
You better find something else to do. Teach. You know what I'm saying? Teach.
Can't let that define you.
Yeah, show other people how to be the best. Or at least, your take on the best. And bring up your hobbyist. Oh, man. I mean,
most people are hobbyists at the end of the day. They really are.
Yeah.
They really are.
Being a hobbyist because you know what? It's a lot of pressure off of you.
Kind of is. But there's still hobbyists that want to fight other hobbyists, and that's when you have these JV competitions. I guess that's the place for that. Because I would still
100%.
say, like the guy that wants to be like king of practice on the mat, go compete against other versions of yourself, right? Because you either want to train or you want to full on go 1,000% to prove that you're like the best guy.
And if you ever get the chance, and you have someone who is ranked among the best, and you ever get the chance, you go, hey man, I wonder how I'd really do against him. Talk to him. Yeah, you see if he'll give you a match.
You got to compete against him.
Usually,
you got to compete.
But sometimes, listen, people have come and they've visited schools, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll give you the business," and they'll come in and they'll just beat up your whole school, and they're like, "There you go. There's a difference," and that's cool. If you get the chance to get beat up by somebody way better than you, try it. But here's the thing.
We have that guy.
When you do it, if you're given the opportunity, don't be an asshole. If you see that they're kind of bringing it down to your pace.
Yeah.
Don't look for some weird explosive movement and you shatter his freaking tibia or something. Yeah. Don't be an asshole.
I won.
Yeah, I won. Oh, I crippled my idol. No, don't be that guy, dude. Don't be that guy. Just take the ass whooping and learn from it and go, whoa, there's a huge gap here. There's a huge gap. I mean, I know that a lot of our guys used to go up to Marcelo's school and they would roll with him, and then they come back and they're like, yo, there is a huge disparity between what I can do and what this guy just did to me.
Yeah, it's very humbling.
And it's cool. It's okay. Because this is not your job. This is not necessarily how you feed your family. It's okay. Check your ego at the door. Don't look at it like you have to be the best in the world. Instead, be the best version of yourself that you can be. I do say that's worth striving for. I don't know that I even strive for that. Like I said, I'm not shooting for the best version of myself. I'm just some dude, man. I'm just like, I'm living life. I'm trying to just be okay. As long as my okay is better than a lot of people's freaking really good. So I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. Shit, I feel like I'm monopolizing everything. So when would you next want to compete? Like, do you have the urge to compete anymore?
I have no desire to compete.
Right?
I'm going to be 60 years old. Like, really, like, come on. Okay, so think about it. What's in it for me at this point?
Nah, busted up knee, I guess.
What's in it for me?
I mean, but you're good at heel hooks.
I do like heel hooks. But that's the flip side. I don't want to get heel hooked and get my knee ripped out at 60 years old.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah, that's real talk.
But obviously at this age, though, everybody's like, hey, we got to work on this life. We're good.
And that's the thing, right?
So it's not really a full on. Yeah, it's not really like I said, the window of that has closed, right? So even if I were to compete at 60 years old, it's not going to be like probably we're trying to legitimately, maim each other to try to win this. It's not going to be that. We're both like probably a mutual respect. We're older. Okay, we still want to try to bring it a little bit, but we ain't trying to kill each other. Yeah. But see, when you're 20, no, they are trying to maim each other. So by default, it's a different match altogether. For sure. That window is closed. Competition is like love. It's for young people. It's for young people. It's for young people, right? When you're young and pretty, right? You're all jacked. You don't even have to lift weights. You're just like, your stomach's all like flat.
Right,
It's for young people.
And that's why, realistically, I mean, when it really comes down to it, even the older guys who want to hold on to glory, what do they do when it really comes time to compete? They will come down to the adult division, because realistically, the top guy is pretty much in the adult division between whatever the hell that age range is, and that's it. It's like, you can't be like, hey man, I'm going into the 62-year-old division. I'm the best. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, you're the best at being 60 plus, but it's like,
which is still, I mean, it's respect.
Awesome.
If you're on the mats, respect.
100%. But like, if you jump into the adult division, they go, oh shit, yeah, boy, my back ain't what it used to be.
Man, look at that's the solace that I take when I roll with these young cats. I'll see like a young purple belt. I'm like, man, I just want to put you in a time machine and make you 60 years old. Like, you might not even be rolling at that age.
And you're probably right.
But I still respect it. It's like, I do the best I can. You know, I try to bring it. I try to bring the smoke. You know, I do a good job.
Dude,
and you know, I'm not getting run through. You know what I mean?
You're like freaking Wolverine.
Bring it, dude.
You're like Wolverine, dude. You are by no means the average when it comes time.
I try.
Like, Father Time is having a hard time with you.
I got good genetics.
Yeah, apparently. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
I'm natty too.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
I should get on that good stuff though, huh?
Oh man, then you're
blow up a little
bit. Then you might as well go compete in the freaking adult division.
That's true.
now you're walking around like a 20-year-old. Like,
shave off 30 years.
Hell damn yeah. Now, check this out, everybody, because realistically, these are just our opinions, and they're like assholes. You know the deal. Everybody's got one. So, by all means, like, shoot us a message. Challenge us on this. We would love to hear your opinion, because hell, we might just say, all right, look, here's all the responses we got about this subject matter. And then we'll address it. We'll be like, all right, well, such and such says, Schaefer, you're an asshole. You don't know what you're talking about. Let me address that, or whatever, you know. or Rod, I remember that time you heel hooked me and I can't walk right anymore, you know, or whatever it is. And we'll address it. We'll talk about it. We'll bring it up. Hell yeah.
So by default, is there any way to even, there's no way to really challenge it? Because let's just say this, going on a limb here. Let's say you're a competitor. You're like, no, man, I think they're full of crap, dude, whatever they're saying. I compete. I go to every Pan Am's. I'm going to go fight those guys. They come in. But then by default, it's like you're in a school, though. So it's like you'd have to go into a competition setting to really do it. So, like, it's kind of like it's a moot point. You wouldn't really do it because, like,
unless you do it, like, because there's been those old school challenge matches, and you challenge, right? I'm going to come to your school, and we're going to set a timer, and I'm going to beat the dog shit out of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, cool. Well, when you come to school, we'll set the timer. I'm going to beat the dog shit out of you. And you're like, what? And then it's a match.
Then at least you know. There's two people on the same page.
And then you're like, okay, this is really happening. You know who used to do those, man? That was
for 3 minutes on the clock.
You know who I like to watch? Freaking, I remember the old ones with Kimbo Slice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, I saw him when he went to that challenge match and went to a jiu-jitsu school, and he got tossed up. It was terrible.
Yeah, he didn't really fit very well.
Rest in peace, Kimbo. But,
yeah,
but it was crazy. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
too much gear.
That's one way to actually truly challenge yourself outside of a competition. You can say, hey, listen, I'm gonna go to your school.
Open mat.
Not just open mat. I'm talking a straight up challenge match where it's like old Kumite. You know what I mean? Everybody standing around a big circle, freaking with some drums and shit. You know.
All right.
2 men enter, 1 will leave.
Yeah.
You know, something serious. But I don't know, dude. I mean, that's the move.
Yeah, and there are those anomalies. Like we did have that actually one time. It was basically a Kumite. We had one of our top guys. We had Trevor there, and it was hilarious. For the guys that don't know, Trevor's just like an anomaly. He's just a beast. This guy doesn't train for 6 months and he'll come in here and beat everybody and then go home for 6 months, come back and beat everybody. Like, it's like, you're just wasting all this talent, dude. Come on, man.
Hey, but you can't.
But that's his life.
You can't make him.
He does other things.
He's a hobbyist.
But he's really, really good though. At the same time,
he's really, really good.
But it's funny. He's doing this Kumite and like, I think he went to like 20 guys, and finally this other guy finally got him. I'm like, oh, you got Trevor? He goes, yeah, I was like the 20th guy though. It was so funny.
Heck yeah! I remember one of my last promotions. I went out to Hassett's. I went to visit, and I like posted a whole bunch of stuff online, and I had like the music from what the hell was it? Not Fight Club. Where they had the Kumite kickboxer or whatever. What the hell was it?
I don't know. Some Jane Claude Van Damme or
some
something.
Van Damme movie. Anyway, I had the Kumite music playing, talking about dipping the gloves in the broken glass with the honey and shit. Yeah. And like I just had all kinds of stuff, and I was like tagging everybody. I'm like, you better be here. It's going to be a Kumite at Hassett's when I come out. Blah blah blah. We had a good turnout. Dude. It was fun, and everybody was just beating everybody.
That's awesome.
It was old school stuff.
So what's the moral of the story?
Moral of the story: love jujitsu. Be okay with being a hobbyist.
Embrace your hobbyists.
Embrace.
Is that a word? Hobbyists.
Hobbyists. Yeah, hobbyists. Yes. So embrace that. Or
go compete.
Be gung ho. Go compete. Go freaking old school Conan. What they say? Crush your enemy, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Like, go in there and smash them.
Sounds biblical.
It feels like it, right?
That's pretty good.
That's from Conan, dude.
That's pretty good.
The lamentation, the wailing.
That's pretty good.
Look it up if you didn't know what lamentation meant. Anyway,
that's a book of the Old Testament.
That's a good.
They stole it.
Okay. It's Conan, dude.
It's cool though. It's cool.
So yes, if you want to be that guy or gal or whatever, and you want to get out there and just beat the dog shit out of people and be the best, by all means, pursue that. Pursue that, and go at it with reckless abandon. Like, really give into that if that's what you want to do. I'm cool with people giving something their all, right? But I'm also cool with a more conservative approach to life, where it's like, sometimes you gotta just say, okay, well, realistically, what can I do? Because I still have these other things that I have to do.
Exactly.
I'm a movie buff. I like watching a whole bunch of crazy shit. And I remember when Achilles was Brad Pitt was playing Achilles.
Troy,
yeah. And that kid was like, oh, I could never do that. And he was like, that's why no one will ever remember your name.
Oh.
And that's a fact too, man. Yeah, that hurts, right? Ouch. It's like, if you just want to be a hobbyist, nobody's going to fucking know you.
No.
And be okay with that. Nobody's going to say, oh my God, you know who the most okayest blue belt I ever met was? Dude, nobody gives a shit. Just like nobody gives a shit who the best. I
was saying the flip side is, who's the best blue belt in the world?
Dude, we have had this argument freaking
I know.
The best blue belt in the world doesn't even freaking matter. Sorry if you happen to be that person.
But I don't even know who that person is. Who is it? I don't know. Somebody knows. Put in the comments. If you know who the best blue belt in the world is, put his name in the comments. Because I really don't know.
Yeah, facts. But then,
I'd like to know.
Then after you write his name in the comments, think for 2 seconds and go, then is he really a blue belt?
Exactly.
This is the problem with that. It's weird. Anyway, damn, how do we just get off topic?
I don't know. We got off topic. But on that note, I guess we close it out.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, thanks for watching. If you like it, drop a comment, share it, like it, subscribe it, and we will catch you on the next one.
For sure. And just also remember, do jujitsu, love jujitsu. Don't let anybody love it more than you. Enjoy that shit. God bless you. Good night.
Peace.